Hello, and welcome back to our German 1890 campaign, Blood and Iron. This will be our 56th episode for this campaign, and we're in June of 1989. We're looking like it's all over here, and we'll be moving on to a new campaign. So let's save our game. Let's make our backup. I have a feeling that when I save the game and it takes a second or two, that's probably the game trying to save all like the US's gigantic uh, 3 million ton fleet. Followed second place and still out ahead of everyone else by Japan, which has a better economy than we do. Wonder if maybe it's because they have Borneo down here. There's no oil there. I don't know if they have oil at all. Maybe here. I guess we can check the almanac. They don't have oil, but they have an incredible economy. Like an incredible economy. Like we had a lot of this stuff down here in our playthrough, and we had oil, I think, from a couple of sources. But yeah. Anyhow, let's start pressing the button and go through these last few months. Reminisce a little bit on this campaign. It was nice starting out with more money than we did with Japan. There's the Graf Spee. Oh yeah, Italy and Austria-Hungary are ending the game like they started by pummeling each other into the Stone Age. So let's see what our we'll move the Hindenburg, but we're gonna see what our air groups would look like. So we're gonna put these in I suppose the 5th carrier division. No, we'll put these in the 4th because we did rearrange it a little bit. These will go to the 3rd. There we go. And then these will go into the 1st carrier division. These are like our flagship aircraft carriers. And for the air groups, we would do, where the heck is it? 105. So let's auto add aircraft. It didn't add any special. Sort of replace the jet fighters with special. We need 17 of those. Leaves us with one extra plane. We'll just add another heavy jet. Can we do that without? Hang on, what did I do? Change number. There we go. And we can change the role to be night capable. And hopefully when we copy this air group, I don't think special is allowed to be night capable, but we'll try. Nope. But when we copy this air group over to the other one, it'll keep like all the night capability and stuff. But this is what our air groups would look like. We'd have 36 heavy jet fighters. We would have 34, 44. We'd have like 54 jet attacks. Is that right? I don't know if that's right. Let's see, 34. So 17 plus 17 is 34. 42, 52, I think. 52. Yeah. 52 jet attacks. So yeah, then a bunch of special. So that's what our fleet would look like. We would probably aim to build, what do we got going on here? Just one more aircraft carrier into construction, but we'd push for a little bit of budget if we could, if we were going into the future. We'd push for some budget, and we would probably retire the Hindenburgs to save on the maintenance, because look at the maintenance. They're at 856 at this point, which is more than our Europas, because these are I guess it I guess it was true. Someone left a comment on one of the other videos that as your ships get older, even if they're not obsolete, the maintenance does become a big problem. So there we go. So we'd phase out the Hindenburgs when we had a chance, and we would build like two more Graf Zeppelins. We'd have four Europas and four Graf Zeppelins. And if we were going like into the 90s, you'd probably phase out all the Europas as well, like in stages. Get rid of like two of them, or just build two Graf Zeppelin twos, and then get rid of like two Europas. And then build a couple of Graf Zeppelin twos and get rid of Europas, and you'd eventually have eight Graf Zeppelins. And we'd also get rid of these Jades. Let's be honest, these things, just having some light jet fighters ain't helping. Come on. So that's what I think the future would look like for our carrier group. We'd probably work on some like heavy cruisers. We're close to, yeah, we're in August, which is I'm doing this now before the game ends and locks me out. But like heavy cruisers, 16,000 tons is pretty good. Look at the missile arcs. Yeah, there's a lot of missiles on this thing. But it has heavy SAMs, it has medium SAMs, then it has a bunch of heavy SSMs on it. And we'd look at the guns, and 8-inch guns is probably too much. We could go down to 7 on that. Like 7-inch guns will pack a wallop on anyone in this era. And these are auto loaders. So we could go CWiz, take it down to like 6. We're way over on top side now. Get rid of the medium AAs because they've been proving to be useless. But we would, if we were building something like this, it's going 32 knots. We need to fix the engine. We could bring it down to 31 so it keeps up with the rest of the fleet. We don't have our carriers are all going 31 or slower. So we'd also put on a flight deck or we'd put on a helicopter pad with a helipad. Give it a couple of well, we could give it one helicopter. Yeah. And then maybe downgrade the heavy SAM or get rid of the medium SAMs and replace it with a light SAMs. So then we edit reloads. So it still only has 8 heavy SSM launchers, but we'd give it more, so like 30 heavy SAMs. And we're actually at topside capacity already. We don't have room for light SAMs on here. So these are auto loaders, so we increase the rounds to 200, not 300. Yeah, there's honestly not much else we could do with a ship like this. We could get rid of the aft guns. That clears up a little bit of topside. You have to figure, is it worth getting rid? Yeah, still keeps some guns there. Is it worth getting rid of one set of guns to gain a light SAM? And I think it would be if we can fit it on there. So we'd go like, what, aft on that? 2 tubes. Still, that's too many. Decrease down to 1. Hmm. Maybe we could delete these side launchers. Instead of having 2, we could have just 1 heavy SSM with like 4 tubes. We can go aft centerline on that. There you go. That actually works out. So then we increase the reloads on these light SAMs. Edit the reloads on the heavy SSM. So that gives us 8 heavy SSMs with full reloads. And we're actually over topside again. How did we do that? What did we do? Decrease the guns. 5 7-inch guns is still pretty good. And we're actually have to cut. Yeah, dang, we're have to cut space here. Maybe get rid of a CWiz because we have to cut some tonnage. We're at spacious. We can go up to better torpedo defense. X or Y to use the helipads. We need to get rid of the light SAM in that position and add a light SAM like center line, forward center line with one tube. There you go. Give them some reloads. Back up to 30. And then we'd have to cut some weights. That's pretty good. That would save a ton of weight by going with magazine box. Hmm. But then we'd cut a bunch of space or cut a lot of tonnage off, and we'd lose topside. We'd have to go down to like 2 CWIS, or go down to 1 fire control position. That actually kind of works. Because honestly, how many hits are you going to take in this era? We can actually put a CWIS back on. No, we can't. No, we can't. Take a CWIS back off. And yeah, that's would be kind of a cool heavy cruiser. It only holds 8 SSMs, which I'm not a big fan of. Like I'd rather have more if we had the capability, but we're really strict on this topside load. Can we add we could add one more tube on the light SAM and just fix it by going up in tonnage a little bit. So that would be pretty cool. That would be the build right there, probably 2 light SAMs, or 2 light SAM tubes, 2 heavy SAM tubes, and then you get, you know, 4 8 SSMs. Then if you really wanted to go up in speed, make it into like a counter raider or something, you'd have to go way up in tonnage to do it. So, not really a thing. Get rid of unit machinery, that wouldn't help either. So you'd stay at 31 knots. That way it keeps up with the fleet. It provides some nice gunnery power to the fleet. And if it got included in battles, it would kind of be out in front. It'd just be kind of like out in the front, just like, with some destroyers and stuff. Destroyer screens would be absorbing the missiles, hopefully absorbing missiles. And you'd probably assign like 2 groups actually. So we're going to close this. But you'd assign like, if it was like the first heavy cruiser group or something, you just go in and assign like both 9, or you'd go to division editor, like 9, or here these ones aren't assigned, so we can actually just do it. So we'll like set division role. You do it as a screen for the first cruiser division. The first cruiser division should already have a destroyer group attached to it. It doesn't. Oh, it has. They're attached directly to the battle divisions. So then you just go in here like 10 and 11. You'd set the division role to screen for the first cruiser division, and that way you have essentially about, if you're really going hardcore with it, you'd have like about 10 destroyers screening for your heavy cruisers. And then the heavy cruisers are there to provide like the actual punch to the force after all your destroyers get sunk by missiles. But yeah, that's what I would do if I had, the money to actually do it. But we are short on money. Are not sure where it's all going, but yeah, like our economy is like way out in front because we always invested in the railroads when we had the chance. And every time we won a war, we opted for the main part for getting money concessions, like reparations. So you can see after every war, our economy economy jumps, jumps. And that's only the 1920. Yeah, then we get caught by the US here. So this is like that stalemate war. And then our economy jumps when the war happens, jumps, and then the US just way outpaces us. It just goes berserk. But that's the story of that. But let's keep pressing the button. Kind of sad to see this go, but it was nice having like more money to start with. I wasn't a huge fan. Oh, Austria-Hungary lost a helicopter carrier and a aircraft carrier. I wonder if they probably, I think they had 3 left when we looked the last time. They have CVs and what am I looking at here? Yeah, they got 2 left now. Italy has 1. So they're just pummeling each other. They're both down to like under 400,000 tonnage. Even Spain has more, although Spain's technology level is questionable. Oh, we'll make him a hero. We'll get some tension and possibly a prestige. Here's a privately built helicopter. What's the future hold there? We lose speed, we lose range, we gain toughness. I think we just keep the old one. It has good reliability, so having a helicopter with good reliability is pretty nice. October 18 or 1989. What? Hang on. Let's copy the air group and we'll paste it. Nice. The night fighting stuff did carry over. Cool. So that's what the future of the carrier fleet would look like. Now, for the future of the destroyers, we'd probably build one last destroyer class. Like, so I think it's 3,800 tons is our max. 3,800, so we got by 500. We do aluminum superstructure if it's allowed. It would be allowed. We have heavily. Oh wow! Look at all those medium SSMs on here. Jeez. But something important I actually wanted to do was get rid of the mines. And oh, that's no. Okay. So this is what I would actually. Oh, why did I close that? This is what I would actually want to do is design a new Corvette, and it goes up to like 2,500 tons. Oops, we don't want low freeboard. We need spacious accommodations. We'll increase the speed a little bit here. I don't know if it can take aluminum superstructure. It can. So we'll go up to like 22 knots, 24 knots, and then we'll do CWIS on there. Get rid of the mediums. Well, it says it's more effective versus jet, and it has some ability to shoot down missiles, but we never saw the medium AA doing anything. So it has one little gun, but the important part is we can do a helipad on there, right? We've got, let's clear the front turrets. We would add a medium SSM to the forward and forward center line. There we go. Edit reloads. Now, do these things even have to have a gun? They don't. They don't have to have a gun at all. These can just be pure missile ships. And then we add minesweeping gear. We can increase the radar limit to 6 to make it able to spot stuff. And then, if we really wanted to, we could add a gun, but not necessary. We get rid of the DP, we get rid of the autoloader, we get rid of the AA directors because it's not needed. We can slap on a couple of medium AAs on there, and then we just increase the speed to take up some extra tonnage. 27 knots. Is that allowed? It is. So this would be like the future Corvette, where it's just a missile boat. It's a pure missile boat with 8 medium SSMs on there, no gun, but we get that minesweeping gear, which is actually, as it turns out, a little bit more important than I thought because I was disregarding it. So yeah, we don't get any more DC throwers; they're useless now. But yeah, we get a helicopter on there for some scouting, and they're basically 600, and they're almost 11,000 to build in total. 16-month build. We could pump out, 25 of those, no problem, and replace the old Hamburg Express. So that's probably like a future project. We'd probably do that actually pretty quickly because these things are immensely useful. Like number one, they have 9 ASW value. Yeah, which is increased by our helicopter. But they also minesweep, which reduces the ASW, but we were losing a lot of ships to mines. And the thing is, we have ASW in our destroyers. Like that's what they're there for. So you just gotta pick a job essentially. And in fact, what if we wanted to go ham with it and get rid of the ASW entirely? So we get rid of the ASW, and that doesn't actually save us any topside really. So we'll put that back on there. There you go. I thought maybe it'd save us a bunch of topside and we could strap one more set of missiles on there, but it's not really a thing. But we'd pick some kind of really cool name for it, like I don't know, like the Roland or the Grief class. It don't matter too much. The Cap Verde. But yeah, this is the Regulus. That's probably what we'd go for. The Regulus class missile boat. That'd be our Corvette for the future. So yeah, that would be pretty cool. But we will just keep pressing the button. This is going to end here in just a month or two, like 1 or 2 more clicks, I think. We'll gain some budget and blame Great Britain. Like their navy's been chopped to pieces. And then we gain a little bit of balance, and we keep trying to gain balance until we're back in black. So this is the French light cruiser being rebuilt. 12 heavy SSMs. This is the bad boy here. Almost 13,000 tons with 35 knots. How the heck did they manage to fit? And they got 50 mines on there. How 13 Sea Whiz? How are they managing to fit all this stuff on board a light cruiser? Somebody tell me. And they got 6 6-inch guns, and they got secondaries. How are they fitting all this on the top side? What's going on here? Well, that's fine. Let's see. Probably the last result of the whole thing is Italy and Austria-Hungary trading helicopter carriers. Oh, hang on. We got one more to go. All right. It's thinking. I think it's it. Yep, that's it. It's done. So we had a couple of nice battles against Spain. We had a war against Spain. Our economy really shot up there. Oh, that's prestige. Yeah, okay, never mind. That's our war and prestige. Our prestige really shot up, and then it took a nosedive here. And it shoots up every time we get into an actual like war. Fleet tonnage, ups and downs. Britain has the early advantage here, as you'd expect, but it goes down. It gets overtaken by Germany and the U.S., and the U.S. just goes up and stays up for like the rest of the yeah, just like the rest of the time in the game. Then this purple here, I believe, is Japan. Yeah, they're the second place displacement. We're in third with, it looks like, Britain climbing back up again. And then Summary of ships lost. We lost 3 battleships, 1 battle cruiser. We lost some heavy cruisers, 3 CVs, 26 light cruisers, 73 destroyers. We lost a lot of auxiliary, but that's from like just being raided. We lost 236 submarines. But Britain lost 12 battleships. Yeah. 6 carriers. Who lost the most? Italy lost. So Italy lost the most carriers out of everyone. They lost 9 carriers and 10 light carriers. They lost 7 battleships, 11 battle cruisers. And Austria-Hungary, I mean, they lost a lot too. Why is Spain gray on here? But they lost so much stuff as well, man. They pounded each other. But if you look at who we were raiding the most, right here, the U.S., they lost 793, transports, and we were also, doing the same thing to France and Great Britain. And you'll notice that even though we went to war with Spain a lot, that was all in the early years. Like I think we went to war with them twice, maybe 3 times, but it was all like early years. Like we weren't raiding back then. Like we didn't have the submarines to do it. So they only lost 18 auxiliaries, and then I don't know if they even got into another war after that or not. Who's to say? But they lost a lot of their early battleships to us, I believe. So did Russia. Yeah, like I think most of these early battleship losses for Spain and Russia were to us. Like we sank them. So let's hit this button. Admiral Von Tiny. We only have 47 prestige compared to the 90 that we had as Japan, but we were fighting Russia like just on and off, like just every few years, so we were able to just farm prestige on them. And I guess maybe the final score is based off of your prestige. We're going to get an Admiral Von Tiny aircraft carrier. And we exit the game. And we can't go any more turns. I'm retired. So we're going to exit the game. We're going to go down here to Rule the Waves 3. You can see that I've been playing a little bit of Dwarf Fortress here. Just dipping my toes in. So if we were going to play a new game, we got to start in 1890 as usual, because like honestly, the 1890, well, about 1898 or so until about 1925 is like one of my favorite eras, like before the aircraft carriers arrive, and it's just like, hey, who can build the sweetest battleship or in heavy cruisers and stuff? But so for our options, that's up to you all. So our next campaign, I'll launch it in a couple weeks. This is Saturday. It's almost midnight on Saturday, Friday the 28th of March. Played some Warhammer tonight. Just got home around 8:30 or so. Took a little bit of a breather. Watched some Warhammer footage from the Adepticon convention, and then jumped on here to do this. But I'll probably take a couple weeks to relax, so I'm not completely grinding myself out or what they call it when you just like get tired of doing something because you're doing it too much. Burn yourself out. So I don't want to burn myself out on the game. So take a couple weeks, and then I'll jump right back in as usual. But you all get to choose. We've played Germany. We've played Japan. Japan was fun, but it was tough being the underdog like all the time. Even though the sneak attacks were awesome. Germany was pretty cool. They didn't start out as like a huge powerhouse or anything, especially considering they had, 3 big neighbors. But the economy did develop in near the end there to be pretty good. The US, I'm really interested in playing as the US. I've never touched it, but as I understand, it starts out with a less budget than Germany does, but it ramps up, like starting in like the 1920s or so, it just starts ramping. So you got to survive. You got to survive until that era, and then you can start doing all the fun stuff. They have rapid economic growth as traits. You get technology leader as a trait. Not sure what that does exactly. Does it give you a bonus to your research speed? It gets a couple bonus techs. You get superimposed turrets, so you can get better battleships faster. Radar and electronics. It's like a late technology to get the advantage on, but if you do, then it's going to be awesome. Then we have options like China. Please, please, if you have any mercy in your souls, please don't vote for China. I didn't, it's okay playing the underdog as Japan, but like that's like such underdog energy. Austria Hungary kind of in the same position where it's like they're just okay. So I was kind of curious about playing as Italy, but the thing about Italy and Austria Hungary that I learned during this campaign, since I was spending most of my time in Europe, watching their wars develop, like, I spent last time I was just over in Japan, like, Asia, just doing my own thing. All of those coastal ports that are along Italy and along like Hungary here or Dalmatia, I guess it is, like all those ports, they're gonna be loaded with aircraft and missile launcher turrets. Loaded. So like every battle that you have in that space between Italy and Austria-Hungary, it's gonna be a bloodbath, I think. Like, there's no real good opportunity to use, aircraft carriers in there. Um, if you're Italy or Austria fighting someone out, like, in the middle of the Mediterranean, it's a little bit more reasonable, but how many battles are you gonna get like that? Like, how many of your what percentage of your battles would be there? I don't know. I mean, I guess we'd have to play to find out, but boy, it seems like a bloodbath. France and Britain, they're kind of in the same position for me. Like, they seem fine, but they're also like really spread out with all those colonies and stuff. It's a lot to manage. I don't really care that much. But as you probably noticed, with both Japan and Germany, I'm not a huge fan of like spreading myself out massively. Like I expanded a lot in Northeast and Southeast Asia as Japan, but I didn't try to go really much further. I think I went a little bit to Africa and that was it. And as Germany, I took some early colonies over in the Caribbean and ended up paying for it by having to keep a task force over there in what's essentially the United States' home waters. You'll never be able to compete with them over there if it's that late in the game, that late in the campaign. So you got to be careful, like about having colonies that are spread out everywhere. But I'm really up for the U.S. France and Britain would be fine. I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably pick Britain because it has ship classes that I can actually pronounce. like like these French ship classes and names and stuff. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce any of them. In Russia's like in an odd position where it's like you kind of have to have two navies. You decide who you're going to fight at any one time. Are you fighting in Europe this time, or are you fighting in Asia this time? You got to like ship your navy back and forth essentially. Just seems a little bit weird. I don't know. They also have undeveloped shipbuilding industry, which gets fixed over time. Like I think Japan had that as well. Yeah, they had that. It gets fixed over time. And poor education, I don't know if that ever gets fixed. So I don't know. Like it's another big name. Like it's another like main nation that's like not very powerful, but it would have the advantage of its home bases in the Baltic, which forces, if you're fighting Britain or Russia, or Britain or France to actually go into the Baltic and fight you down if they, or try to blockade you if they can. Kind of curious. Spain has like all the worst traits of everyone, where it's like, hey, they got like a crappy economy and they have negative traits, but they're also really spread out. So it's like it's like let's take all the bad ones and just put them all together. But anyhow, let me know what you want. Like I don't, if you do pick one that's crappy, like a nation, if you all pick one that's crappy, whatever, I can play it. I'll do it. Whatever you folks want. You're um, my friends here. I will do as you wish, so inflict whatever you wish upon me. Again, it will be decided by whatever nation gets the most mentions. I consider like a mention a vote, essentially, depending on the context of your comments. So yeah, go ahead, go below. While you're there, hit the like button. I'm gonna be like a YouTube guy. Hey, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But while you're down, yeah, while you're down there, hit up, do all that. But more importantly, just leave a comment like, "Hey, Tiny, I want you to play this nation or this nation," and this is like do like a top three or something. If you want to do multiple, do like a top three because I'll put more weight on the first one that you mention. Like if it comes down to like a tie, if like two different people are like, "Hey, uh, we want you to play France. We want you to play the U.S. or France." And it's like, well, that's 2 votes for each of them. They're tied. But if you guys do like a rank choice, it's like number 1 US, number 2 France, then I know what's up. But I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for hanging in through this campaign. It's been a pretty long one. It's essentially 56 days or whatever of Hearts of Iron, pretty much 2 whole months. And we'll see what happens with everybody's comments and their votes and all that. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for your comments and your likes, and it helps keep me motivated to keep doing it. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks, and sail safe out there.